And what I love about him, and you're going to see, is that when you hear his story, he had no interest in growing some huge team, making no money, being reliant on everything in his business, having no time with his family or anything else. He's an amazing guy. Guys, do me a favor and give a hand to Alex.
It's a revolution.
There it is.
It's a revolution.
Alex got some fans up front here. Okay, just come right over here.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Welcome. So Alex is one of our coaches. Why don't you give him a little bit of the story like we've done with other people, how you and I came in contact, give him a little bit of background on you and the real estate business, and then we'll kind of get into it here.
So I was watching a video, and Donna was interviewing Paco, and he was talking about his background, how he was an auditor for state of California. I'm sorry, compliance investigator.
Yep.
And I was an auditor for state of California, and automatically I connected, and then the rest is history. Got on board and became a coach and watched all your videos.
That's right. You were brought, I remember now, you were actually brought to my attention because you had connected with Paco. Now, were you and Paco, were you guys getting together? You guys live near each other?
No, he's in Southern California. I'm in Northern California.
Were you guys getting together? I thought I knew you guys were doing a mastermind group or something together. Was that over the phone, video?
No, I mean, we went down to Southern California. There California Association of Realtors,
Gotcha, that's
and
how
we
you
hanged
met
out there, but yeah. But we do talk to each other all the time.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit, or actually tell the audience here, tell us a little bit about you, tell us about your experience, and obviously today's session is about building a team of Navy SEALs, which meant that he wanted very specific, not huge. I wanted to make good money, but you also wanted to be able to have a family life and do these things. Can you give us a little bit of background, as much as you want to share or don't want to share, on why that is? Tell us where you're from, tell us why it matters to you, like the whole deal.
All right. I'm going to tell you my story. Came to America when I was 10. I'm from Iran. Came with my mom. My parents were divorced when I was 2. My mom was a nurse in Iran, so when she came to America, because of language barriers, she couldn't get a job as a nurse, so she had to work at a convalescent home. And as a kid, my father was a businessman back home, and I always had that entrepreneur heart. So 11 years old, I started my new job working door-to-door, knocking on doors, selling USA Today subscription. And that's...
It's a newspaper for any young folks in here.
Yeah. And this is in the early 80s. And I did good. I was making $100 a week. That was a lot of money back then. And my boss, Mark Mormuto, he was like a father figure to me and a mentor. He taught me about team building. He taught me sales. So fast forward comes 2005. I get my real estate license, a broker. I start my company from the get-go. I do good for about 2 years, and the market crashed. And in 2008, I went back to all the books that I read. And it always talked about, forget about the problem, what's the solution? So I started foreclosure prevention seminars. I started a TV show on the Persian network. It aired all over the United States. I had about 40,000 people that watched my show every Tuesday night. And when I went on air, because my mom had already been diagnosed with cancer, when I went on air, the next day she passed. So it motivated me, and it inspired me to always make sure that, she was proud of me. And as I was doing my foreclosure prevention seminars, it was just me solo, doing it on my own. And the room was always packed. And I had, Persians, all different cultures that would come. And I remember one time this gentleman came with his son, and they sat right in the front. And the guy came up afterward, his son did. He goes, "You did all this and you didn't charge us anything?" I go, "No." He goes, "Why did you do that?" I said, "Because I just want to serve. I want to give back." Zig Ziglar says, give to as many people, give them what they want, you'll get what you want. So I said, I just want to serve. And I brought in HUD counselors and all these other different guys. So the son really connected with me, and his father was about to lose his house. It was only 1 week away from foreclosure. I mean, it was like the house was going to go to auction. So I was able to help him with packaging. He went to the HUD counselor, they stopped it. And I was able to inspire him, his son. So he said, "You know what? I'm grateful." And I said, "You know what, Mike? I think you're going to be a great agent. Why don't you go get your license?" So he went and got his license, and this was around 2013. And then after he got his license, I got my next agent and my next agent. And then while I was building my team, I was studying these big teams. And I noticed that they were doing very well. The numbers were big. But I also noticed that they had a lot of, turnover, or that, you know, they were getting divorced and all this stuff, and that's not what I wanted, because that's where I came from, and I don't want that for my kids. So I made a decision that I told myself, and this is what worked for me. So everybody, I said to myself that I'd rather have that 5 Navy SEALs than 50 soldiers. That's what I want. And when I talk about 5 Navy SEALs, I'm not talking about top producers. I am not looking for a top producer. What I'm looking for, someone that's loyal, someone that's hungry, and someone that's going to give an exceptional customer service to my clients. That's what I want.
And so you're at the point, like, before we move forward here, you're not recruiting, you don't want more people, you don't want, you basically, and if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong here, when I talked to you quickly, you said, look, I'm gonna make this amount of money, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be able to do this with my children, I'm gonna do, and that satisfies me.
So for those of you that follow me on Facebook, my goal every year, I hit my $250,000, $250,000. You know, I'm gonna be very transparent with you guys.
You guys appreciate that? Would that be okay? Like, yeah.
$250,000, and then I also have all my rentals, right? So in 2008, when the market crashed, I did, you know, buy rentals also too. And actually, back then we were flipping, and then by 2012, I put it on cruise control. Now I just have rentals, and they're all paid off. So I have that.
So you think they should pay attention to what Mark was trying to tell them earlier?
That's right, 100%. Because I see brokers, I see agents, they're out there hustling for other people, and they have nothing in their name. You know, like a good friend of mine there, Rick Fuller, says, you know, fill those buckets. So, and that's what I've always done, you know, fill those buckets. I maxed out my SEP, IRAs, everything. My company's a corporation. I treat it as a business. It is a business for me. And I've done well. And I want to make sure, my son is 5 years old and my daughter is 2.5. And when my daughter was born, this was about she's almost 3 now, 2.5 years ago, I was holding her in my arm. And I was looking at her, and I'm like, my God, I'm 44 years old. When I'm like 64, she's going to be 20. I want to make sure I'm in good shape. So for those of you that follow me also, I work out 7 days a week.
Come on now.
I mean,
you hit me with the did you sweat today all the
okay,
time.
that's it, but it's my life. So I could be in Dubai, I could be in Istanbul, I could be in anywhere in the world. I'm up at 5:30 in the morning, I'm in the gym at 6 a.m. because it's part of my life. And I hired a coach. I paid. My friends used to make fun of me. Are you crazy? You can go on YouTube and learn that stuff. I said, it's not the same, man. So I went from 200 to 170 pounds. I've lost 8% body fat, and I'm in the best shape of my life, and I love it.
Come on now, come on. That's where it's right up for. What I love about what he just said, though, that I want everybody to pay attention to, because you guys know I pushed the whole did you sweat today and the whole thing. But does anybody remember why I do it? Does anyone in here remember why I do it? Anyone? My boys, what's that mean? I said when my kids are in high school, I still want to dominate them. Okay? Like,
that's right.
Now, I say that kind of like a joke, right? But the truth of the matter is, it's exactly what he's talking about. Why do we always have to wait until the breaking point before we do what we should have been doing all along? Why do we have to wait until we get the preventable disease until we do what we should have been doing all along? I had an epiphany. It's probably more years than I remember now, but probably like 6 or 7 years ago. Nope, probably like 7 or 8, whatever. And I had like I don't remember if it was a dream or if I had just something in my head. I think it was a dream. I had a dream that I had gotten a preventable disease. And it kept me from being there with my family. That it was like, it could have been avoided, but I worked too much and I never took care of myself, and I never ate well, and I never anything. And I made a decision in my head, and I didn't share it with a lot of people. You know, my wife probably noticed that I became like a freak, you know, like basically every day, did you sweat today, actually doing it, right? Someone asked at the last conference last year, does he really do it? And she said, it's annoying. Like, that's what she said, right? But I had this epiphany, and I decided that, you guys know there's no difference between your mind and what's reality, right? Your mind doesn't know the difference, right? If you've ever woken up in the middle of a dream or a nightmare and you feel scared for a second, or you wake up sweating, or you feel like you don't know it, that your mind doesn't know whether it was real or not real, right? And so I had this epiphany, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna live like before the preventable disease. Thank God that I was able to have that moment, and it wasn't real, because so many people don't get that opportunity. And so I stopped and I said, I'm gonna live like as if I had a chance before the preventable disease. And look, things can come, health things, but there's some things that are outside of our control. I will not get something that was preventable because I wasn't taking care of myself. So when I hear him say, I'm getting up and I'm going and doing it and I'm sweating and I'm doing whatever, we're gonna talk business and everything else, but I hope you guys get that, okay? Because business and money and everything else means nothing if you're dead. Means nothing if you're not able to enjoy your life. It means nothing if you're not able to enjoy the people around you. It means nothing. How would you live if you were shown what was going to happen because you weren't simply doing things that were in your control? How would you live before that? That's how we should live. Deal? Perfect. So, you're doing that, you're going out, you're saying, I want to be there for my children, I want to, if I remember correctly, so you've got these Navy SEALs, I think you changed a little bit of how you were doing business too, as far as inbound, outbound, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit, because we had someone yesterday, I think it was Sean, who was saying that he gets reviews, he does that, he doesn't really spend with any places or anything like that, but then we have someone like you, different model, both work,
Yep.
that you do
Yep.
spend money.
Yep. So my business is based on inbound. My agents, like I said, I want them to give exceptional customer service. I will provide them with the business. I do not want my agents following up on any of my leads. Big mistake for me. Now, it might work for you. So I have me as the marketer, and then we have somebody that's doing a follow-up, which we call them the scheduler, and we also have our closers. My agents, I want them to focus on just going out there and showing homes. Now, on our Monday meetings, I will teach them prospecting. I will show them that when they're at an open house, what they should say, what not to say. I'll show them all that. But for me, this is what works for me. For me to teach them how to do online marketing or Facebook videos on their YouTube, for me, it doesn't work. I want to have one brand, everything funnels through me, and it's inbound. Now, they can do a Facebook Live, they can do it on their open house, that's fine. But it's all based on inbounds. And now, where does inbound comes from? It comes from paid online leads, Zillow. I know probably quite a few, or maybe some of you don't care for Zillow. It makes me a lot of money, all right? I do very well with Zillow. I spent last year, should I give you numbers?
I want you to give whatever you can.
All
By
right.
the way, guys, we're saying Zillow,
Okay.
Realtor.com is here.
Okay.
It's the same thing. Go for it.
I spent last year on Zillow $2,000 a month, and I got $150,000 worth of business. So $2,000 a month times 12, that's 24. My lender picked up half of it, so it cost me, what, $11,000, right? They flew me into Vegas. That's when you were in Vegas doing your event too, if you remember.
The mastermind.
Yeah, the
That was same time
mastermind.
as
Same time, right?
I picked the exact time to go to Vegas with our small crew when realtors from all over North America were in the same hotel. So all of a sudden, I didn't want to leave my room
Right.
again, if anybody remembers that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was there. So I spent $11,000, and I got $150,000. But what you need to understand, it wasn't just that money I made. I have a CRM. This thing is a machine. When a lead comes in, that CRM, between my ISA and drip campaign, we're touching them 23 times within the first 10 days. Yeah.
What CRM are you using?
Wise Agent. I am touching them 23 times. And so if
Explain to them how you're touching them. Like,
Okay.
so when you say 23 times, so we've heard Mark say 10 times first 7 days. We've heard him now say 23 times. I think the overall theme right now is get touchy.
Yep.
Okay?
So first day, phone call, text, right? Phone call, text, send out an email, bomb video. They don't answer my phone, they don't respond to my text, but I know they've opened that video because it pops right up and I know.
Notification.
Right? So I know. And then the next day, it goes from 4 to another 4 touches the next day. Then it goes to the third day, it goes down to 3. It goes all the way to the 10th day. After that, every 2 weeks for the next 6 months, they're getting a video from me. And I have already pre-recorded all this video.
Okay, so that's an important point right now. Okay, you guys noticing a pattern here? One of two fingers. Do you think he's going for one of two fingers right now? You know why he is? Because he's spending the money he is. So he goes, I'm going to get the most out of the money that I'm spending, right? So let's talk about this a second. I know how you're doing this, but I just want to make sure everybody else does. So you're saying, so first off, we know video is just so much more it just works so much better, right? They see you. What did I say yesterday? It's much more difficult to reject a person than it is to reject a font, right? So you, in reaching out to them with these automatic follow-ups that are going out, with these videos that are going out, have pre-recorded the videos.
Correct.
What kinds of messages are on the videos? And it's really no different than any drip campaign. Instead of sending emails or sending, whatever, you're just sending them with videos in them, correct?
Correct.
So what kind of videos are you sending? What messaging is in those videos?
Right.
Do you guys want to hear that, or is this off track? Should I move on? Yes?
So when the lead comes in, we figure out right away if it's a buyer or a seller lead. I mean, if it's a seller lead, we're not sending them buyer videos. We're going to send them things that has to do with seller. So we're going to send videos that says, if you're looking at your valuation, you might need to get a more accurate CMA. We're talking about how staging your home is, can bring up the value of your home by 10%. Things that are related to selling your house.
So you set a content schedule.
Yep.
I just want to make sure everybody understands this,
Right.
because I feel like this has been said before, but we need to do it, okay? You set a schedule, and you went, here are things based on the emails we've been getting, based on the responses we get from our sellers, based on whatever, here are the things that actually matter. Like, here are the things that they keep wanting to hear about. So I'm going to get ahead of it before they have to ask that. And I'm going to be the leader in the area and produce that content up front. And you produce that content one time. You put it into a package that now automatically goes out from the moment that they register with you.
Correct.
Okay.
It's all about, it goes back again, it's all about inbound sales. I figured this out long time ago. It was a great book I read, I forgot what it was, but it said, if they need you more than you need them, you win. But if you need them more than they need you, you lose. So what I mean by that is you got to show value, right? You got to be able to constantly be able to entertain them, value, whatever it is, to have them come to you versus you going out there and begging for business. So all the content that I create on BombBomb or videos that I do on Facebook, like for example, when the lead comes in, right away, I have their social media. I know if they're on Facebook or not. Yep. So if I'm engaging with them, I'm making them my personal friend. I like what he said. He said that whole thing about business profile and personal, it's like one now.
2018.
So I'm letting them come into my life, right? So they're seeing me, they're seeing my kid. I take my son to Kung Fu every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So they're seeing all this. They might not reach out to me, but eventually they will.
That's right.
And let me just go back to Zillow for a minute. That $150,000 that I made, I'm actually going to make more money, and I'm not going to pay Zillow anymore. You know why? Because now those people are my past clients.
Yes.
Now I'm going to go into their sphere. Now I'm going to work that. Does that make sense? So
if you're doing your job.
That's right. It never ends. That's one. Two, I do a lot of online organic search engine optimization. So if there's 3 areas you really want to master, you want to make sure, and this again goes back to Rick, thanks to Rick, you want to make sure.
By the way, Rick's one of our coaches, just so you guys know who he keeps referring to. There is somebody over there named Rick when you see him look.
So when you Google top agent in Pleasant Hill, California, my name will pop up and organically will come in Google places. It's right there. I want that. I've gotten a ton of business for that. I didn't pay nothing for it. But because of the fact that I'm a Zillow Premier agent, it organically brings me up even higher. That's one. So you want to make sure you get as many reviews as you can on Zillow. You want to make sure you get them on Realtor.com, any online social platform, social, but online, with real estate, you want to make sure you get your reviews. Yelp. Does anybody have a Yelp profile here?
It's crazy to me how many people do not leverage Yelp.
Can you please listen to me? You need to be on Yelp. And Yelp, you will get listings from Yelp. Honest to God. Okay? Yelp is unbelievable. You will do very well, and hopefully you're on the first page of Yelp.
It's where consumers go. It's where, okay, back to acting as marketers differently than behaving as consumers. How many of you have visited Yelp before to get reviews or do something? Okay, perfect. How many of you right now are pushing people to give reviews on Yelp? Okay. You see? Acting as marketers differently than we're behaving as consumers.
Yep.
Over and over again from our top people, over and over, they mention Yelp, 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 Yelp. And then when I talk to agents, no, we don't have anything there. Go where the consumers are. It's all that matters.
Yep. So what I do with my students, the first thing I do an audit on their online presence. If you guys go on, you can go type in my name, Alex Khodadad, you'll see all my reviews, you'll see the amount of business that I do on Zillow. We've done 25 million in sales in the last 12 months. And majority of that business I've brought. So it's not like, oh, he's cheating, his team is doing it. No, I brought it, I gave that to them, they're doing it, and I'm gonna go talk to you about my structure, what I paid them in a minute. And then the last one is Google, my Google business.
Yep.
You wanna be on my Google business because when people Googling, you know, you wanna be able to pull up and you wanna get as many reviews. You wanna be in double digits. Now, a lot of people do videos, but they don't know why they're doing videos. They'll just do videos because it looks sexy, because it's 2018, they'll just do them, but they don't understand why they're doing what they're doing it. Well, guess who owns YouTube? Google. So by you making those videos and you tag them properly, right? When they're searching, boom, your name pops up.
What did we say the other day, guys? You're building your library right now or you're not.
Yep.
The #1 agent in your area is building their library right now. Okay, so when people search, remember, over 80% on Google by 2019. YouTube is 100% video. Facebook is going completely video. When people search, it's gone from what to how to and why. Okay? Yep. Build your library.
Yep. So, if you want to know online, the ones that I've paid, which one has been the best for me, and I'm not endorsing them, or this is just what's worked for me. Zellow's been #1. Period, hands down. After Zellow is Yelp. A lot of people would never think, you would think Yelp, you're thinking restaurants, right? Yelp has done very well for me. Facebook is good. The only thing is, Facebook, you gotta nurture it. You better have the system.
Longer term.
See, I see a lot of people say, I spent thousands of dollars on Zello, but I didn't make any money because you did not have the system. I like what he said about the pouring the water. If you don't have the right system, you're wasting your money. I tell my students, there's a few of my students here today, I let them know, I say, you are not gonna spend a dime until we dial in that CRM.
That's right.
But some of them, they fight me. They're like, no, I need to make money. I said, I understand you want to make money, but you need to create this CRM, you need to create this machine. If you don't, you are gonna burn money.
That's right. So I wanna cover, we're gonna back off the break a little bit. You're still gonna get your full break. I'll just take it out of whatever, if that's okay with you guys, because there's 2 things I wanna cover with him that I think are gonna be valuable. Can we all be in agreement that we can back up a few minutes here? Good? Sure. Okay, I know we're coming to the end, guys. Just stick with it, please, because keep your energy there, because we're gonna try to give you some really good stuff here as we're coming to the end, okay? You came here from all over North America, get as much as you can, okay? 2 things. You mentioned quickly, and we mentioned this earlier with Mark, that you only pay for half of your marketing.
Yep.
So how did those conversations go? Did people give you pushback? You don't need to get into how much they give you and all that kind of stuff. That's mastermind stuff, but like, how did those conversations go? Did you get any pushback? And I haven't asked you this, so I'm just curious. Like,
so this is what I tell them. I'm very straightforward without being rude. I go, when you get on the freeway, do you only have north? You have north or south, east or west,
I see where you're going.
Right? I said, if I'm going to take care of you, you're going to take care of me. But Alex, we can't do that. Okay, that's fine, and then we just won't be doing any business together. Thank you. But we're going to give extra customer service. We're going to do this, but that's your job. You already should do that anyways.
Yeah.
Okay? That is your job. Your job is to close in 14 days. Your job is to make sure that person does not, you know, pull a car payment or anything like that. That's your job. You're supposed to do your job. That's where. So
that's like my son's coming to me and saying, "Daddy, can I have allowance? I made my bed." You made your bed? Really? That's your job. Yep. Like you made your bed. It's the same thing. And I love that that is such a great point. We close in this much time. We're looking up whatever. When are you going to name something that every other person is not supposed to do in your industry? There's a million other options. I said this earlier. Why are we so afraid to pull something from someone or to ask them to help us or to give a return when they don't feel bad about not expecting it from us or expecting it from us? It goes both ways. So have you ever had someone who, when that happens, that conversation, do you have to move on to someone? Do they sometimes go, okay, let's do it? How does it generally go?
Well, I mean, even if they say, okay, let's do it, I want to make sure I see their online presence. I want to make sure that they're credible, that they really do know what they're doing too. I usually have 3 lenders at all time. And the reason why is that I want to make, 1, I want to fall within RESPA. 2, if there's a problem, I'm going to say there was 3 different lenders and client has that choice. One might want to get a low income with 3.5%. This person is good at that. Maybe another one's good at jumbo. Maybe another one's good with conventional. So I like to have 3 lenders at all time. And then I'll refer them to whoever I think is, you know, would be able to help them. And I fall within that compliance with that.
Awesome. The greater point here that I'm trying to get you guys to understand, How many of you right now are getting 0 marketing dollars from anyone to help you with your marketing and you feel like you can't? Okay, look around, you see? It's the way of the world now. It's the way smart people are doing business. So if you take nothing else from this conference, hopefully you take a lot of things from this conference, but you need to start getting your partners to start co-branding and contributing to your business as much as you're contributing to their business, okay? Can everybody kind of agree that that needs to start happening, okay? Let's talk, actually there's 2 more things I want to talk about with you. I want to go into, because you said you wanted to talk structure, which I hope everybody's okay with. We'll talk actual structure, like what that looks like. Keep in mind as we do that kind of stuff, there's no 100% model. What works for him is different than what works for someone else. It's why we said in one-on-one coaching, we say, let's look at you, let's look at your market, and then you have kind of a thing like that. Before I go into that, I just remembered that you had said to me why you started this model. And even with a lot of people that you work with now, from a coach perspective, you will see people with what looks great, mass number of people, but they're not profitable, right? I mean, like, so what was your reality where you just kind of went like, this is not profitable? Like, this is not, what was that point for you?
Well, thank God I didn't really get to that point because I was studying other agents, top producers, and by getting closer to them, I figured out that they had horrible lives, they were getting divorced, they were drunk, it just, seriously, I mean, so, and I said, I don't want that. I do not want that. So that's not the lifestyle that I want. And from the beginning, when I start to build, I try to build it the proper way. I did make a few mistakes. One mistake I made is when a lead came in at the beginning, I would just directly give it over to my agent. Big mistake. Please listen to me. Do not do it. It didn't work for me. You need to have that agent. If you're building a team, let them just focus on sales. Okay? And if you ask them to do sales, marketing, this and that.
Meaning you would give a completely cold lead to an agent and then expect them to nurture it through.
Correct. No more. Now it goes into our CRM. The scheduler does their job. They follow up. They get a pre-approval. Once they get a pre-approval, it goes. Now, is that always, does that always work? No. Because a Zillow lead will come in and say, I want to see this house now. So the scheduler is going to call one of our people, and they're going to first call that person and say, you want to see this house? Yes. Are you working with an agent? No. No problem. I got the right person for you. They'll call them. They'll take them and show them that house, right? And after that, they'll take them to a coffee, Starbucks or somewhere. They'll sit with them, and they'll qualify them there, right?
Gotcha.
And
now they've met them face to face.
That's it.
They know that they're not just some like internet troll or something like that. They're like, oh, this is a real person who's just showing me houses. But the greater principle was speed. That it's happening quick. It's going into someone, and it's speed. So let's talk structure. Okay, structure. So this is the way I do my structure. Like I said, my business is all about inbound. But if somebody comes in and has deals on the side, I'm going to be very fair with them. So if I give them a deal, it's 50-50. 50% for me, 50% for them. That's it, end of the story. If I have to take on a listing, I don't have time. I've got 7 listings coming up right now. We have 3 that's active, but I got 7 more coming up. I don't have time. Not that I don't want to. I want to spend time with my family. So 2 of those, I'm giving them to my co-listing agent, 50-50. I'll take care of the photography, all that other good stuff. Now, if they bring in their own deal and they're brand new, on the first 5 deals is 50-50. 6 through the 10th deal, it's 60-40. 11 through the 15 is 70-30, and then after that it goes 80-20. They get 80, I get 20%. This is on their own personal production. Any business they bring, that's their client. I will never say, if you leave, that because like I said, loyalty is everything. They can take it. But if I give them a lead that belongs to the company, and I will make sure it's in the contract. Guys, listen to me. This is where you will make a mistake. And I advised Paco about this too. If a lead comes in and that agent takes care of that lead and it becomes a buyer, and then that buyer and then gives another deal to that agent, that is still my lead. Great
That is
point.
still mine.
Great
and you
point.
need to do that or not is going to backfire. Make sure
Did you guys
everything.
get that? Because that's where I wasn't planning on bringing that up, but that's where a lot of team leads are missing it, is that they will allow the first one, that's through me, and then everything that comes off of that person now is theirs.
It's called organic lead for them. Yep.
But the origin of that lead was who?
Yep.
Who paid for that? That has got to be something that you agree on early on. Does everybody understand what we're saying right there? Before we close out here, are there any questions? We got a couple minutes because I'm going to back the schedule by 15 minutes. Let's start right here. What's your question?
With your Yelp
Yeah,
I'll repeat the question, by the way, but go ahead.
me.
Let me repeat it first. With your Yelp review, is it you personally or the company? And you said it's you.
It's
okay?
me.
Awesome.
Because I don't want to tarnish the brand. It's got to be me. If you look at some of the top producers, it's them and 60 agents under them, or them or 5 agents under them, right? It's got to be, it's me. That's the way I do it. I'm not going to compete with my own agents.
Question right here. And let me repeat it before you answer. So she said, so a lead comes in who's not pre-qualified, you will let your agent take them to the house without being pre-qualified, and I assume you're talking about a Zillow lead that comes in that needs to see it right away? Whatever it is, usually that would be a Zillow, but, or whatever it is, yeah.
No, I only said there's certain times that we'll make an exception. So the scheduler will pre-qualify them, we'll get one of our preferred lenders on the phone. If they've already been approved, that's fine, we'd like to see a copy of that. But if they haven't, we'll get someone. But if they're like, I need to see a house now, we're not going to kill that deal. Then that scheduler will connect them with one of our buyer's agent. We'll show them that house. After they're done showing, they'll meet at a nearby Starbucks, sit, spend $5 on a coffee or tea or whatever, get to know them, build that rapport, and then move forward, and hopefully get that.
So in other words for you, and I like this point, in other words for you, although you have a certain rule that you don't want to take people out to the pre-qualified, you don't want to take anything like that, in that situation, it's a greater thing for you to take the chance of going and spending the time.
That's right.
Rather than 100% kill the idea of a relationship with them.
That's
because
right.
there's something right now they want to see.
That's right.
So,
What's the percentage of the ones that you did that last minute thing with that couldn't get pre-qualified?
Any lead that comes in
she said, what's the percentage of people who come in right away, couldn't wait, couldn't whatever, needed to go see, but then couldn't be pre-qualified? Like they just weren't even able to be financially or whatever.
Any lead that comes in is 50-50. Any lead that, that's
No, I think she's saying like basically how many people that you guys have had to go take to a property, but you couldn't pre-qualify them first. You found out later on couldn't be pre-qualified, at all.
About 20%. And the ones that could not be pre-qualified, we don't get rid of them.
Exactly.
Like Mark said,
exactly
I'll put them in my CRM, and I'm just going to work it. I'm going to nurture them.
That's exactly right. Back here. So on your Zillow leads, do you have one lender paying that half amount, or do you have 2 or 3 people that will jump in on those?
So the way you can do it, if you're spending $1,000, you can have a lender match you that $1,000 as long as their photo's there. So if one lender says, I'm only going to pay $500, I'm going to bring another lender to pick up that other $500. 1,000.
And since you said, do you share that when, like, if you have 50-50, like 2 different people doing it, do you share it where they both get it, or do you have a thing where like half of them go to this one, half of them go to that one, or how do you handle it when you have 2 different?
We share it.
So first come, first serve. Next up, right here.
Alex, how do you control the organic leads that you provide to your team and the next generation when they take on another lead?
How do you control the lead that you gave to your agent? How do you then determine later on that somebody came to them from that lead?
Yeah. What's the first thing I said, remember? I said, when I'm looking at my agents that I hire, loyalty, right? If you lie to me, game over. Loyalty, because I'll eventually find out, and they're loyal to me. Yeah, but everything is in writing. 100%. Everything is in writing. So if I give a lead, and they get it, and they close it, and that lead gives another, that's an organic lead. That's still my lead. And I'm telling you guys, you really need to make sure you write this down because it will become a problem.
I'm going to come here and then here, right here. I want to make sure we don't miss the side of the room, right here. Company-generated listing where an agent is doing an open house for one of his listings, but then it generates a buyer off of that open house, correct? How does that work?
Beautiful, I love it. So remember, it goes back to marketing and prospecting. I teach my agents how to prospect. I do not teach them how to market. So that is their client. So if they go to my listing and they get a buyer, that is their buyer. They worked for it and they deserve it. And they can go all the way up to 80%.
I got to go over here, then I'll come over here. I saw a hand up over here. Yes. So you said that, sorry, live stream, give me 1 second. I'm going to repeat this right up here so I can actually hear you. You said what? Say that again. Loyalty is the key fundamental of your team, agents.
What's the culture of the brokerage that kind of is an envelope that they work with?
What is the culture of your office that is the envelope that they work in that actually breeds that, the loyalty?
Our culture is about team, family, right? I treat my agents like family. They come over my home. They eat with my family. We go out together. I don't come to work and say thank you so much and I go home. If they're hurting, I'm there for them. I'm going to help them out. They become my family. So that's why loyalty is so important to me, because if they do me wrong, then it will really hurt me a lot. That's why my culture is about team, just caring for each other and understanding that we have one. So this, okay.
And by the way, just saying, like, when you get to know Alex, you get it. Because, right? I mean, all the coaches are shaking their head right now. Because you can say, hey, we're a family. I think it's way overused, right? In a real estate office, at a team, we're a family. It all sounds nice. When you get to know Alex, you get why it works, right? You start to talk to him, and you can tell as you're talking to him how loyal he is to you, and then expects the same from you. You just feel it. And so it's not a surprise to me that that's the way his office is, because it's actually genuine for him. Some of you in here should not be building your team on loyalty, because it doesn't come off of you like that, right? You need to figure out what it is for you that is really going to be a vibrant, whatever in your thing. Don't try to mimic him. For him, you can see how that works. We got a question right here. Go ahead.
One last question. So, of your total gross revenue, what percentage is company generated and what percentage is your agent generated?
Out of total company revenue, what percentage is you generated, and what percentage is team or company generated? And I would say all of it, because you're the one that's creating it. But I think he means they handle it and you handle it.
Actually, last year was 70% company generated and 30% them. And it was either from someone they met, family member, open house, and that's theirs.
Yes.
Yeah, but 70%, and that's what I want. Remember what I told you guys? If they need you more than you need them, you win. So I want to make sure that I take care of them. That's why I need to master. Every day I keep asking myself, how do I master inbound sales? How do I master it?
I'm going to take these last two, and then remember, guys, we're doing a long Q&A at the end of the day, so you can ask specific to him. You can say who the speaker was, and you have a question for that. So if I don't come to you right now, write it down. We're going to come back around. I want you guys to get stuff as a result of being here, okay? So I'm going to come here real quick.
Talking about Zillow, with Zillow itself, you said that you sometimes use different lenders. So do you separate them into quarters?
She said with Zillow, you said you use different lenders. So do you separate them into quarters? Is that what you said?
Full amount for, let's say, the year. So
Okay.
you have X lenders
Right.
for quarters.
Good.
Do you do different lenders every quarter?
Yeah, no. So I try to build a relationship with a lender and stay with them. I don't want to have one lender 6 months and then jump to another lender. So
Yeah, that doesn't work.
with Zillow, you have to sign a 6-month contract. But that lender has no obligation. So if they if they go away, you're picking up their tab, right? But yeah, that's just the way it is. So 6 months, but like I said, loyalty. I mean, it means the world to me.
By the way, really quickly here, guys, remember I said 9s don't date 5s, right? You want to build a business that's a 9, a 10, an 8, that kind of a thing. Do you know how many partners there are out there in your marketplace? Like, they need you more than you need them. You understand? Okay, so that's not something, there's plenty. I'm going to come right here, and then we're going to have to break right here.
You were talking about your scheduler. I'm assuming is that like an ISA person?
He said, you're talking about your scheduler. He kept calling it a scheduler. Is that like your ISA?
And then do you train them in? Is that something that you have that you hire out, or how is that?
Do you train them in, like, are they in-house, or are they like a third party outside?
So you can call them an inside sales associate, you can call them an inbound sales associate, but that's a person that their job is to just set appointments. where I see people making mistakes, they're actually trying to do more than that. Their job is to pre-qualify that buyer, pre-qualify that seller, set schedule with one of our agents. And usually they're good, or they'll try to figure out that desk profile to know that personality of that person. So if that person's calling and they're asking 1,000 questions, that's a high C. That's an engineer, that's a doctor, that's a lawyer.
Yeah.
We need to get them to someone that's gonna be there for them. A D is not gonna get along with a high C, right? So we have to make sure there's that connection. So their job is to just follow up, because the secret to our business, guys, I don't know if you agree with me or not, it's follow up, follow up, follow
Completely,
up,
100%.
follow up. You gotta follow up.
So where do you get that person, is what I'm asking. Is that someone that you hired?
Yes, yes, of course. But I don't just hire anybody, yes. We find the right person, we bring them in, and we give them the option in the future to get their real estate license. So they get already getting a taste of building relationships and understanding the industry, and eventually, that's what I just said with my ISA right now. She's got her license, now she's gonna move, and now I gotta get another ISA, right? But I will not send, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I will not send my ISAs overseas. They're here. I want them here. I want to walk in there. I want to hold them accountable. They need to be here. But their job is one thing and one thing only, is to schedule. My marketing assistant person, if I'm getting a listing and I need to put on listing to leads, their job is to get those Facebooks out. Facebook ad or whatever, but my closer, which is my buyer's agent, my listing agent, their job is to go out there and do sales. I will not commingle these. And when we start commingling them, they get burned out. And I teach my students. I have some of my students that want to take their TC and have their TC doing ISA.
Transaction coordinator.
It doesn't work. You can't do that. You're going to burn them out.
Perfect. Hey guys, how about a hand for Alex, huh? Thank you. Thank you.